Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param. Om. So, in the very end of this, now towards the end of this chapter 6, Krishna begins asking certain questions, and Swami Paramarthananda presents some answers which are anticipating the topic of bhakti, which is going to be profoundly elaborated in the chapter 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so Swami says that before Krishna did not deal with bhakti, and now we're going to begin seeing bhakti. So what is this deal about bhakti? Why we should develop a spirit, a sense, a devotion towards the Creator, towards God? What is the importance about that, especially if you get to the final teachings of the Vedas, which is the Upanishads? And if you get to the very final teachings, this says that you are Brahman, the very, very fabric or the substratum of the entire universe. You are the true God. You are the Nirguna Atma, and so on. And then it puts every seeker of enlightenment or spiritual elevation in a difficult situation. How am I going to have a devotion towards my very intrinsic nature? You know, it is sometimes referred to as non-dual bhakti. But bhakti in general refers to appreciation and reverence for the creator of this apparent order of reality, because this apparent order of reality somehow gives us the opportunity to grow, to develop, and to recognize and realize, actualize the divine nature of this apparent projection, which is the background, the adhisthana, the substratum. So it seems that the whole process requires a spirit of appreciation, love, devotion, generosity towards the field, donation. You start giving, present your actions with the spirit of giving back something to Ishvara as the field. So of course we are referring to the Saguna Ishvara, which presents us with this human life, human experience. So we learned everything about this relationship between Saguna God and the Jiva Atma, creator and creature, and the laws holding the creation. So in that process, we begin refine our emotional body, so to speak. The emotional body, he starts somehow conforming, harmonizing, and accepting things as they are by understanding the laws and principles of this creator, and learning how to behave, how to conduct oneself in a way that we are giving really something back with a spirit of dedication, love, reverence. Thank you, Lord. And there is nobody that gives us more than the Creator. So anybody who does a little favor here and there, we feel like, oh, I'm so thankful to you. I'm even in debt with you, and so on. And how about Ishvara, who does everything to us all the time? Saguna Ishvara, the intelligent principle. So the importance is that through this divine kind of sentiment, we transcend all our emotions, which are based on likes and dislikes, on my vasana. I want what I want, and so on. Those emotions, mundane emotions, materialist emotions of wanting what you want, those emotions, they get refined to the extent that you understand the laws, structuring the Dharma field. And then you begin developing another sort of emotion. Emotion is energy. Energy has to be purified, transformed, refined. It's the same sort of energy, but now it's refined It's no longer a desire to get your way in society, in media, but it's a desire to love and enjoy this opportunity with a certain spirit that allows me to dedicate my actions, but all to receive whatsoever comes as an opportunity to learn more, as prasada, even if it's painful. We know that this human birth is a flow of experience of pleasure and pain. So we want to transcend the duality, the pairs, all opposite pairs, punya papa, all together. And we do that by giving up expectation in regards to our parabada. I do what I do in harmony with the laws of the creator, and I leave the results to the creator, accepting what cannot be changed. And by doing so, I'm also develop the strength to receive adverse parabadas, sometimes dramatic, very, very difficult parabadas. So we take it with acceptance. So devotion is the key in this process. There is a saying that James used to say here and there, that understanding Ishvara is the key for enlightenment or self-realization, understanding Ishvara. Why? Because once you understand this relationship with Ishvara, you go through a rapid process of purification, which allows you to gain a hard and fast self-knowledge later on, you understand? So devotion is absolutely necessary in this process of converting human emotions into a much superior emotion, which is devotion, you understand? And allows us to respond to life with from a certain angle of knowledge and sentiment and emotional perspective, that okay, here goes my response to whatsoever parabada you presenting me with. It's tough, it's difficult, okay, but I'm trying my best to overcome my human animalistic nature of wanting what I want at any cost. So, and then what do we do with it? Later on, we're going to learn that the highest bhakta is the bhakta, as we are seeing here, a bhakta that understood the nirguna nature of the Atma as identical to our nirguna Atma, which is Satchitananda Brahman in another name, or Turiya. So once we understand that, first of all, that does not really cancel the appreciation for the Lord and the creator of this apparent order of reality, of Namarupa order, does not cancel that appreciation, because it was through that appreciation that somehow, some say, through many, many births, we come to the final understanding of our true nature, which is free from all the laws operating in this Mithya universe. Which laws? Is cause and effect, And most people are governed by so much ignorance that the results of one's actions almost always produce unfavorable circumstances, because people do not understand the system, does not understand how to be happy here. To be happy here, we need to conform to Ishvara's principles and laws. So knowing your true nature as Brahman, the substratum of Saguna Ishvara, does not cancel your understanding of the nature of Saguna Ishvara, which are the laws and principles structuring this apparent field of transaction, because you want to be happy and you are still in a body appearing in this apparent order, and you want to live in harmony with your complete spiritual knowledge, a full and whole and complete self-knowledge, the knowledge that understands Saguna Brahman and Nirguna Brahman, both. You understand? And a lot of people, they jump this understanding of Saguna Brahman, Saguna Ishvara, because they believe that they want to go to the last page of the book. Some people, they like to jump to the last page because they are not patient enough. No? So no, we understand both. We understand Saguna and Nirguna. We have a complete knowledge, okay? And then we're still thankful for Saguna Ishvara, knowing perfectly well that I, in my true nature, I am identical with Saguna Ishwara, because we are both Nirguna Atma, you understand? So what's the difference between me and Jivatma and Ishwara Atma? The difference is that Ishwara Atma has total knowledge, intelligence of all times, of all universe, okay? So, and I have almost no knowledge of anything. I'm so, limited in terms of knowledge, but yet the scripture says that we have the potential to understand a very simple, direct knowledge, self-evident knowledge, which is my true nature is conscious existence of a limitless nature. So what I'm trying to say is that you can be a devotee of Saguna while retaining the knowledge that Saguna is but my true Atma. My Nirguna Atma is the true nature of Saguna Ishwara. We are all Nirguna Atma, you understand? And then you see the same way when we look around our environment, we see nature, especially for those of us living in nature. We see what? Behind or through all the Namarupas around, we see what? We see Saguna Ishwara, the laws and principles, bringing to us the miracle of life, So we see Ishwara. Now that we see Ishwara, still as a devotee of the Saguna Ishwara, I see Nirguna Atma behind Saguna Ishwara, and I acknowledge that Nirguna Atma is as well my true nature. So the scriptures always point to the fact that Ishwara is a living, self-conscious being, not materialized on this level of density, which requires too much Tamoguna and Rajoguna, which is basically made up of pure Sattvaguna, intelligence, knowledge. So we see this knowledge behind all of this, but then we recognize what? That behind this intelligence structure and holding into place this universe, this apparent universe, there is the Nirguna Atma, which is the only reality, you understand? But one knowledge does not cancel the other, as I'm repeating myself again and again. And you just see through one more level, one more layer you see through. You see Saguna and Nirguna. And what is the importance of this bhakti? Is that Father purifies the human body, mind, sense complex so that the jiva can live more and more in harmony with Saguna, Nirguna, Ishwara, okay? In other words, the Jiva Atma can live in harmony with its own true nature, because if we don't live in harmony with our true nature, which is Nirguna Atma, we will feel discomfort because, we are not harmonized with our nature. The same way a butcher who fundamentally is an artist will never feel comfortable and at ease, playing the role of being a butcher, okay? Because its true apparent nature is artistic. So once you understand your true nature, and then you need to live in harmony with your true nature so that you can be at ease. So we have seen that on the verse 30. I'm making more advertisement of the next chapters here. Okay, the next verse is the verse let me just clarify. So we have seen the verse 30, and in the last paragraph of that unfoldments of Swami Paramarthananda, he again says that we have moved through different symbols of the Lord. Now we went beyond gender and many other aspects, space, time. That devotee, I will always be in contact with the devotee. So the devotee who sees me not with any name, with any form, or the most says it is the Atma of anything that exists, is always within me and I am within them. So there is no question of division, separation, as we have seen in the previous class. In the case of Yani Bhakta, God and himself are the same. Okay. So again, you know the difference between Saguna God, Saguna Atma, or Saguna Ishwara. You see the difference. So Saguna Atma, Saguna Ishwara is total knowledge, intelligence, and I am just a small little intelligence. But in my essential nature, I see the sameness and the inseparability between myself and the Nirguna Atma from Ishwara Atma. But I see the difference between total knowledge and very little knowledge, okay? But I see the sameness between my true nature and the true nature of Saguna Ishwara. That's the point to be made. So therefore, in the next chapter, 7th, Krishna will say, in fact, we cannot say that you are inseparable from Ishvara. He says that, let me say, you cannot be away from me because we are fundamentally in our intrinsic nature, Saguna, Ishvara, and Saguna Jivatma fundamentally are the Nirguna Atma. So what is the benefit? At that level, we have entered the final teachings of Vedanta, the Upanishad teachings. And then we entered in a kind of Vedantic meditation described as Nididhyasana. Yeah? And then you become the greatest possible bhakta because you see through the difference. Because even when you start loving and Ishvara, as the creator, you see difference, total knowledge and almost no knowledge. But once you understand that the nature of this small Jivatma in terms of knowledge and the nature of this Ishvara, Saguna Ishvara, which is total knowledge, the difference is on the surface because total knowledge and very small knowledge, but fundamentally both are limitless, infinite, Nirguna Atma. So this is the ultimate bhakti. Yeah? The verse 31st, one who has attained this vision is the vision of oneness. It will worship me who am present in all beings. That yoga abides in me, even while engaging in life. So now he's bringing another benefit of self-knowledge, which is you should hold that vision, the ultimate vision of the true nature as Nirguna Atma for both Jiva Atma and Ishwara Atma. It's the same Atma. You hold that vision even though engaged in every possible way in your environment. So this is the highest level of bhakti. The expression of bhakti also differs. Previously, I looked upon God as a person, and then I looked upon God as the total knowledge, and so on. So I have transcended the idea that God was a kind of a big jiva, big human being. So he repeats those concepts here. So I no longer require a symbol of God in human terms, like, oh, it's a big person, it's somebody, with a body similar to ours. But no, it transcends gender, it transcends name, it transcends form. It's pure sattva guna. That's the first step. Total knowledge, intelligence. Okay, and he talks a little bit about those rituals to purify those symbols which do not make sense from the standpoint of the knowledge, understanding that we are talking here, okay? So there, when they do rituals, they even do baths to certain symbols. And he says it's almost like insulting the Lord indirectly, because they say, you are impure, so therefore I'm going to purify you with water and fire or whatnot. So it's just more projections of the human jiva. Shankaracharya wrote a beautiful work called Puja. And in that para puja, he says, oh Lord, how can I offer you asana? In fact, you are the substratum on which the whole cosmos is resting. And how can I offer you 2.5 or 1 feet palaki? So it's I don't know what that means, but it's more of rituals that makes no sense once you have a more refined understanding of the nature of God. So I'm going to offer you something, but everything is happening within you. You are the only infinite and limitless principle. So I cannot really offer anything that could add something to you. No? So this is a narrow mind perspective. So I'm going to offer asana, whatsoever this asana means. I can offer padyam, whatsoever this padyam means. There are more things there, which is just an indication of the same misunderstanding or narrow mind perspective of what God is. So we are far behind that kind of confusion, because moreover, we don't live within that a society with Vedic rituals here. In fact, the offering of puja appears meaningless for a yani bhakta. It becomes irrelevant. Inviting God is meaningless, because God is all pervasive. It's the true nature of Ishvara, Jiva, Jagata. God has never been away from anyone. Therefore, a yani's expression of devotion is appreciation of the very nature of God. Very yana itself, it is made out of here, yana means consciousness. What is the true nature of God? It is consciousness or total knowledge, maybe, if it's referring to Saguna God. Or appreciation of the nature of God that is omniscient, omnipresent, and all-knowing. It's yana in itself. So I appreciate the laws and principle, even if it hurts sometimes. But I know that every time I face great adversity, it is just a byproduct of my own ignorance in a personal level and collective level, bringing about, times of great adversity. So this understanding is what makes the bhakta stronger, the devotee stronger to receive anything as it is. So appreciation to God, appreciation of the nature of God, understanding God, wanting to understand God. In the religious aspect of Vedanta passed by seeking the understanding of the true nature of God. Religion means to say you have included God in your life's equation, So appreciation of God is fundamental. If you reject a creator, God, so you're going to have only one alternative, which is investigation on the true nature of the mind, the true nature of the ego, true nature of the I. You understand? And then you are trying to look for the spirit of things, but you are not integrate the creator as if the universe appears by itself. But as we know, you need to have a principle which is pure intelligence and the very source of all sentience, you know. So this is the benefit of bhakti. This is the benefit of worshipping, not in a regular form or ritual, but worshipping Ishvara as the expression of the cosmos and as the intelligence of this cosmos, holding together the cosmos, and furthermore as the substratum, which is identical to my very nirguna Atma. That way I will develop the perception that all is but consciousness, me, everywhere. This is the expression of the ultimate bhakti. It's everything is consciousness. So resorting to this vision of the Lord as one block, one without a second, conscious existence of limitless nature. So the infinite nature of God, the ultimate nature of God must be understood. Otherwise, self-knowledge almost invariably does not produce much purification. You understand? We need to understand the nature of God. And where is it located is God? It's present everywhere. It's the very miracle of life. Is that by which everything is alive, all the sentient beings are alive, therefore, Chaitanya, Rupa, Ishvara, consciousness remaining Advaita, undivided. So there is no special action for expressing the devotion of the Yani Bhakta, no? And then he talks a little bit about four ashramas, the four stages of one's life. Sannyasi need not to do formal worship if a sannyasi, because sannyasi presupposes that you have gone through rituals and worships. Now you are just working on the Upanishad scriptures, you know. But it does not mean that if the sannyas do not have bhakti, they begin developing the highest possible devotion. For the sake of devotees, the yani may do puja together with the other people, visiting the ashram. So the sannyasi will do puja, but he's just playing a role to make everybody at ease. But the sannyasi is concerned, he does not have any puja at all, because his puja is in the form of the very yajna, an attitude, a vision, you know, of Ishvara as the substratum of everything. The very appreciation of the Lord is his puja. It's an internal. Puja means to say rituals is external sadhana, so internally. So if one develops this complete knowledge, which includes God as the creator and the substratum of this creator, as Nirguna Atma, so one's life is an expression of reverence and gratitude to God. Okay, the same principle is presenting this principle to people there in Chennai. They are religious people. They do puja, they do rituals, and so there may be room for some confusion when they hear these teachings and they see some sannyasis doing rituals as well, and Swami is clarifying some of these possible misunderstandings. Because such a person who does not perform any more ritual may appear to be the most irreligious person. He do not do anything. And I think I have heard sometime, maybe in association with Shine World or something like that, that somebody said, wow, I mean, now that I got self-knowledge, it has destroyed my devotion, you know? So it may destroy the more dense devotion, you know, but because you don't manifest it as much externally, but it remains internally highly purified, much more purified as an attitude of love and reverence for everything, because everything is the Satchitananda Brahman. Whether Bhakti has gone, that is why people think Vedanta means Bhakti is gone. He mentioned the same principle here. Oh, it's Vedanta, I just destroyed my devotion. The Bhakti Savyani has reached invisible dimensions that appear to be absent, but it's not, it's internal. At home also, initially you express your love. At home also you express your love in the form of kissing, embracing. But once you're away from your child and family, you know, your love is no longer expressed physically, but inside you know your love for your family. In Indian culture, there is no question of calling one another again and again, say, I love you, I love you. This is very, very relevant. It's very strong in the American society. I have never seen that in any other culture, and I lived in different countries. But somehow in USA, we have this thing there, and I love you as well. And if you don't say love you too, people say, what's wrong with that person? And then to me, people you say, I love you. And then I would, towards my final months and years there in USA, I would say just thank you. And the person say, wow, that's not the right answer, you know? Okay. No need to spend a lot of money on Mother's Day card and Father's Day, Valentine card. Mamma mia, how many superficial things there in that society. And then if I wouldn't do a Valentine card because I forget, you know, and then my wife would be a little offended because people would say, you did not get your card this year. And I was terrible about those things, you know. But it somehow, it feeds into the economy, you know, more buying and selling. Okay. So independently of one's lifestyle, Ayani choose a householder or a sannyasi or a brahmacharya, you know. He might be a grihasta or brahmacharya, or he might be in a vanapashta ashrama. What procession, any whatsoever profession he may have, it does not matter. You can do anything, you can be anywhere. The transformation is within. This is the point here. The transformation is within, and it's invisible to most people. The external transformation is not compulsory. Internal transformation is fundamental. Saha Yoga, such a yani, such as Yana Nista, we saw about this certainty, fortitude of knowledge, of vision, of darshana. Such a yani, with he need not go to temples. He knows that God is not within a temple. But in the initial stage, all of that is required. In the higher stage, the whole creation is a temple, no? Is the abode of the Lord. That's why they tell the story also when a yani was sleeping in a temple and he was stretching his leg towards Shiva Linga. All the other devotees said, it is a sacrilege. How can you stretch your legs towards the Lord? So because of that devotee, the Lord is in that direction. Therefore, the Yanni want to teach a lesson. So all these symbols, I mean, one time I went with Silva in a small temple there in Tiruvannamalai, and not knowing any of that, I left my sandal, my shoes at the doorsteps of the temple. A big mistake, disrespectful. So the person taking care came and say, you cannot do that. You can never put your shoes here. For some reason, I say, I'm sorry, we did not know. No? So there are these formalities that do not make much sense. There the Yanni just turned the leg in direction to the God to teach people a lesson, meaning to say, wherever I turn my leg, I turn in the direction of God. So what is the point? And now I'm just point to the Shiva Linga, and you guys also all excited about that. I mean, tell me where God is not, so that I can direct my legs, or shall I cut my legs? You know. So this kind of symbolism do not mean anything once we get over those things. Therefore, Ishvara is everywhere, Brahman is everywhere. I live within Ishvara, and Ishvara lives within me. Me as my true nature, as Nirguna Atma. All is in me, and I live within this Ishvara Atma, as a Jiva Atma. No? We are inseparable. There is no question of division or separation. Verse 32. You guys feel free to interrupt me and say anything you want. Oh, Arjuna keeping himself, the Yanni, as the standard, that yogi who sees pleasures, and pain alike, is considered to be the greatest. This is a very, very extreme statement. The Yanni with this Yananista, so firm, who holds that darshan, that vision at all times, and keep that as a goal, Arjuna. Keep that as the standard, your goal. You need to come to that level as a yogi, a Yanni yogi, a self-realized Yanni, who sees pleasure and pain alike. Because that's the greatest state. That is the greatest Yanni. That's the greatest level of spiritual elevation, evolution. Go beyond punya papa, go beyond pain and pleasures. Seeing everything with equanimity, because we say that equanimity or vairagya is the fruits of a process which depends on discrimination. So you have viveka. Viveka is going to allow you to discriminate dharma from adharma, and then later on your true nature from your apparent nature. And then it's said that this discrimination is going to produce a certain fruit called vairagya. Vairagya is the ability of equanimity, of receiving whatsoever comes alike. So this is not an instant accomplishment, okay? This is the greatest possible fructification of self-knowledge. The knowledge is so firm, it's so well established that the individual, the body-mind sense complex, takes things as the same, with equanimity, okay? Pleasure and pain. There it's called plain, but it's a misprinting. So it's a goal, he's saying, Arjuna, make this a standard for you as a, your goal. Develop this level of equanimity towards pleasures and pains. because that is the greatest possible accomplishment in a lifetime, human lifetime. Krishna says that a yoni mind expands to such an extent, there is a potential to expand this vision to such an extent that the yoni identifies with all the bodies as his own body. Previously, he was identified with his own body only. Now he knows that the true nature of the body is the Nirguna Atma. And Nirguna Atma is behind his body and all other bodies. Therefore, all bodies becomes my own body, my hands, my legs. And because of this universal identification, I'm identified with the macro manifestation in this apparent order. So everything here is my physical body. Yeah. But how so? So you are not Ishvara, you are not the totality. You are just a small Namarupa, yes. But in my true nature, I am the very, very essence of Saguna Ishvara. So if everything happened within the scope of Saguna Ishvara, I may say that even Saguna Ishvara, in which everything is happening within me. Therefore, these are all my apparent bodies. Yeah? These are all my hands, my legs, and so on. This is the ultimate identification. I am identified with Satchitananda Brahman, conscious existence of limitless nature. How firm and always available and present this identification is the key for moksha, freedom. The more clear, firmly established, the freer we become from our human nature, which requires identification with one division, one part that somehow wants to protect and wants to have this and that in opposition to other things. Yeah? So this is the greatest goal. Therefore, it's said that the yoni is the one with full compassion, cannot hurt anyone. And when the yoni hurts someone, one hurts himself. This experience I have. If I hurt someone, immediately I feel hurt. And then I say, what is this? Because I don't have, for example, more sense of feeling guilt. And guilt is something that disappeared from my mind long ago. Feeling inadequate disappeared long ago. But if I hurt someone, it hurts me. And it's not a sense of inadequacy or I have sinned or anything. It's something more on these lines. You hurt somebody, you feel that you are hurting yourself because there are no divisions. There is only one Atma, one self. This due to the identification with Satchitananda Brahman, which is the true nature of Ishvara Jiva and Jagat. So you identify with the substrate of all other creatures. Therefore, hurting other creatures, somehow you feel like you are hurting yourself to some extent. Previously, I could comfortably hurt anything and anyone. My own body now, so now it's not possible because I'm hurting myself. This is a vision to make us to understand that unless we are masochists, we are never going to do something to hurt ourselves. And then if we discover that I am the totality of this manifestation as the substratum, I'm the totality. So hurting anything, I'm hurting myself. And then that's going to stop me hurting others, because I don't want to hurt myself. This is a very narrow explanation because it implies that I'm still somehow moved by a certain identification and I don't want to hurt myself. You understand? So what happens is more in the lines of I can't hurt other beings, period. Not because I'm hurting myself, because hurting others somehow hurts me. I have somehow developed sensitivity, enough sensitivity, yeah, that I can't hurt other people. And some person provokes a certain reaction on me, for example, and the best thing I do is to stay away from that person. You understand? Because I don't like hurt anybody. I don't like to hurt anybody. Ah, it's because you don't hurt yourself. I don't like to hurt, period. I don't like to see that somebody is suffering because of some of my words and deeds. Therefore, Yani becomes the embodiment of empathy and compassion. A Yani does not hurt any other creature. The embodiment of sympathy or empathy, he becomes an embodiment of ahimsa. Never do to others what you do not want to be done to you. Anybody is subject to feel pain and sorrow. The Yani develops a capacity to sensing the pain of the others, you know. This is another aspect. You develop more and more the sensitivity to the pain of others. And sometimes you want to do something to alleviate that pain in the other. But furthermore, you don't want to add more pain to the other. You understand, Lynn? Therefore, it's difficult for Yani to pain anyone, yeah, without feeling the same pain. Ultimately, the Yani cannot cause pain to anyone. And then he says here, and if he can cause pain to anyone, if there is a pain caused to anyone due to interaction with somebody, immediately this Yani automatically he goes to his rescue. What he's trying to say here, let me read in his very word. The Yani has that empathy by which he intensely appreciates the pain of everybody. He is intensely feeling sensitive to the pain. Therefore, he cannot pain anyone. He cannot cause pain to others. If there is pain to anyone, then immediately, automatically, he goes to the rescue. Now, it means to say, if you see somebody in pain, the Yani is more inclined to go there to see if he can help somehow, you know? Can I do something to alleviate your pain? So, but as we know, the only way to alleviate people's pain is by jnana, by knowledge. And this remedy is most of the time rejected by most everyone, you know. And then you go there and then you offer something more like a band-aid, you know. Like you just, oh no, here goes some money to you. I was doing some project in the house of Sylvia, and it hurts me to see the labor here in Brazil, that it is at the level of slavery, big time. You know, Brazil is a kind of slavery nation. Taxes are so high, and what the governments give back is almost nothing. Corruption is all over every structure of the society here. So it is a difficult place to be. You know? I have my reasons to be here with Silver, but there is so much injustice and pain. And it somehow, it hurts me to see people working for almost nothing and working so hard, you know. And then we feel empathy. We know we cannot change the system, but we can offer something more, a little extra compensation. People here in Brazil, when they contract anything, they have to ask discount. Last time I did a job with someone, he's saying, so no, he's asking this, you have to offer less. You have to bargain the price. I say, no, I don't bargain any price. I either take it or I leave it. I don't bargain. And then the same person, I asked him how much you want to do this job. He said, I want 200 a day. I said, no, if you are as good as you are saying, I will pay 250 a day. Why? Because I like to give something more. Because I mean, I know how poorly they live, the tiny little house without any level of decency or comfort and so on. So you try to do something to alleviate the pain in every possible way, but you know that nobody is interested in the Vedanta knowledge, especially if one is at that more survival level, or emotional dense level. Krishna says the Yanni looks at every living being as Brahman because the sameness of Atma is in everyone. So taking oneself as the standard, taking Krishna, taking himself, meaning to say, taking Krishna as the standard, you must develop this vision and look at everything, every living being as Brahman. He does not have any partiality or selflessness. He does not consider his body as more important than the other body. He goes to the extreme of descriptions of what are the fruits of this Yananista, which is very radical, which means to say, you have come to such a level of purity. So your divine nature is so manifest, So therefore, the Yani follows this, Krishna follows this universal law, the Yani, that is the universal value, ahimsa. What I do not want others to do to me, I never do to others, because others are exactly like me. I do not want to be hurt. I don't want to hurt others. In the beginning, ahimsa, this universal law, is important for us. But it comes a point that you don't hurt others, not because you don't want to be hurt. You don't hurt others because you can't. It goes against your nature. And if you do hurt others, you want to make amendments. You want to go there and apologize, and do something to minimize that without holding any sense of guilt. You go there to try to make amendments. You understand? Say, I apologize. I'm sorry. I hate doing that. Somehow it hurts me more than anything. Okay. Okay, that's the meaning of this verse. Equanimity, whether it is with regard of sukham, or favorable, happy circumstances, or dukkam, unfavorable, unhappy, sorrowful circumstance. This yani, due to this identification with the substratum of everyone and everything, it develops a certain universal love or compassion. This is one of the fruits of self-knowledge, is a sense of love and compassion and empathy towards all beings, respect to all beings. People who will never respect, somehow they even find it strange when you give them too much respect and love and appreciation, like the natives here where I live. It took some time for them to accept my respect to them, because they were always suspicious that it was fake, that I was just trying to get something from them. And now, after years, they began to understand that my love and respect is genuine. So this is the ultimate fruits of self-knowledge, regardless of sukham and dukkam. This Yani is the greatest body-mind person in the world. He the greatest yogi. He is the most accomplished person, even if he is materially poor. Therefore, the benefit of this knowledge is love. And this is beautifully put. Is this universal love, compassion, which is the goal for all of us. And then Swami brings another point here that's let me see. Okay, I'm going to conclude this because this is another topic, very nice. If you have some 5-10 minutes more. There is a certain complaint in the Vedanta circles that says that Vedanta is selfish. Yeah? Why? Because yes, you are only interested in your benefit, which is the fruits of self-knowledge. You are working only for your self-knowledge. What about the self-knowledge of others? Huh? So, oh, you want to be free, and how about the others? What are you doing for the freedom of others? And then some people not really having a qualified mind to understand this believes that the person in pursuit of liberation is selfish. Especially, Swami says, in the context of the India, the Vedic Hindu science, if he takes sannyasa, they are seen even as more and more selfishness. Why? Because he's a parasite who does not give anything back to society. He only wants self-knowledge. He wants to sit there, meditating, contemplating, studying the scripture, because he wants liberation. And how about liberating others? Swami Dayananda, I believe, I don't know, Shimai or Dayananda used to say that it's okay, you go look for your liberation, but you have to work to spread this knowledge to others as well. Krishna said that the Jnani is never selfish. In fact, he withdraws from even one family, such was the case with Ramana. So he does that so that he can identify with all families of the world, entire humanity. He withdraws from one house so that he can identify with people in all houses. Very beautiful. He breaks a few finite relationships so that he can relate to the infinite Brahman. He breaks small finite relationships. People often are so afraid of breaking small relationships which are not helpful in this process. He breaks a few finite and sometimes not conducive to spiritual growth relationships so that he can be have a relationship with the whole world. He wants to expand his mind. I do not want to belong to a few people. I don't want to be caught up in any relationship. I have transformed my relationship with people to God so that I can realize my nature as the nature of Saguna God, Therefore, self-knowledge is withdraw for expansion. Self-knowledge is a withdrawal from the finite, from the limit, so that I can expand to identify with the infinite Brahman as the substratum of the entire cosmos. Therefore, scripture says, this is beautiful. You either do not identify with anybody or you identify with everybody. Very nice, huh? So if you identify with only some people, you're gonna be attached. There will be a hook there. No? So if you identify with everybody, there is no hook. Therefore, either one or the other. No? So what is the other option? Do not identify with anyone. Begin cultivating vairagya and start identifying or associating to God. Withdraw from associating with people, places, and things, and increase your association with God so that later on you can understand your true nature as a sangha free from association. If you identify only with one or two or few people, this is a tragedy, Swamiji says. Vedanta says, do not identify with 3 or 4 people. If you become a sannyasi, sannyasa is withdraw from all those identifications, associations. Don't identify people as your people. So withdraw from those limitations, limited identifications, so that you can have a limitless identification. You destroy your narrow-minded I to replace with the universal I. A Yanni can never really say, I am a Brazilian, American, Indian, or Italian, because this is all due to narrow-minded vision. So how are we going to identify ourselves? I mean, it's since decades that people ask me where I come from, or, what's your nationality? And then I used to say something like, I'm a Terrakian, I'm from this planet. So if you want to identify, at least identify with a human being, and then later on you can get identification that I am humanity itself. Therefore, then do not identify with few people. And you cannot say I am an Indian, Brazilian, or so on. Ayani will say, I belong to the whole planet. Oh, no, planet is too small. I belong, I am the entire universe, let's say. And every living being belongs to me. This expansion is going to produce universal love. This universal love is the result of Yananista. This universal compassion, love, empathy is the ultimate fruits of self-knowledge, okay? It's important we understand that. And it's important that we understand that transformation is a gradual process. The more we work on establishing firmly and clearly our identity as the substratum of everything and everyone, the more this empathy and love and compassion will grow in our hearts. It's a sure promise of the Upanishads. Okay, so we stop here. We begin then from the verse next. When we said next Monday. Anything from you guys?
Truly beautiful class today. Thank you. I can't wait for chapter 7. Would be great.
No, this chapter is very good, and he's going to be tapping into other topics related to devotion. It's all good. It's all good. It's when I proposed the chapter 6 to our small sangha here is because I got so much from this chapter 6, because I have done Gita before, but it was based on the transcriptions of James, but it was very short, and it was not going beyond the chapter 5, did not touch chapter 6, and it was what it is usually, his exposition. When I did this 6 with the Brazilian people, I said, oh my God, as we say in the United States, oh my God, and I got so much. But then for my surprise, the chapter 6, 7, 8, and 9, I got so much more as well, okay? So this is a wonderful sadhana to share this knowledge. I'm thankful to you and Mark, the two pillars of this small sangha, together with Sylvia, that because of you, I can continue doing this sadhana, which sadhana of the best of my ability to unfold these teachings, inspired on the words of Swami Paramarthananda. Okie dokie. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste.
Thank you, Arlindo.
Until next Monday. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Sylvia.
Yeah. Thank you, Arlindo. Thank you, Lynn and Sylvia, as well, because, we are this Sangha, and a special thanks and prostrations to you, Arlindo.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. Namaste.